Hey WordPress fans. In this video, I just want to briefly cover how to update your PHP version. So you may have heard that there is PHP 7, 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3 is even out now. And I just want to iterate how important it is that you upgrade. The two biggest benefits you're going to see from this. The first one is performance. Your site's going to perform a lot faster if you upgrade your PHP version to the most recent version, which is 7.3. As well as security. There's a lot of security pieces that have been fixed in the more recent versions of PHP, and it's really important to keep your site secure. So if you're using anything below PHP 7.2, I highly recommend that you upgrade. Now, I would prefer ultimately that you use PHP 7.3 if that's an option. There may be some themes and plugins out there that still may have some bugs or show some warnings or some errors if you upgrade to 7.3, in which case 7.2 is okay as well. They're both pretty fast. 7.3 is ideal, but 7.2 is okay. Anything below that, I would highly recommend that you just stick to 7.2 or 7.3. So on your screen now, here's a quick benchmark that Kinsta, they're a popular managed WordPress host. They're actually my top rated recommended host. So check them out if you're shopping around for a new host. But they've done a whole bunch of benchmarks on performance to look at how much faster the newer versions of PHP are. And here it's pretty clear that especially if you're running PHP 5.6 or below, you're going to get a huge performance increase by upgrading. PHP 7.3, considerably the fastest of all of them, but like I said, 7.2 is okay as well. And it almost becomes even more important if you're using WooCommerce. Here's an example of the same exact PHP versions, but this website is not just using WordPress, but they've added WooCommerce. It's even more important here, as you'll see that PHP 7.3 is even that much faster than 5.6. One final thing before upgrading that I recommend you do is install a plugin called the PHP Compatibility Checker. Once you've installed and activated it, you'll find it here under the Tools menu, PHP Compatibility, and you can choose which version you want to test with. So if you're planning on upgrading to PHP 7.2, then you would choose that option here. And then you can also choose whether you want to just scan your active plugins and themes or all of them. Now, I recommend you really only have installed the ones that you are using. So you shouldn't have too many inactive plugins or themes installed. If you're not using them, I'd recommend you get rid of them. But you can choose your option here and then just go ahead and click Scan Site and you'll get a report. Now, I'm not going to do this all here. I do want to mention, though, that this report is not the end-all be-all. You might get some warnings or some error messages that aren't necessarily going to mean things are going to break. So there are a lot of what we'd call false positives that this test is going to run. But it's still a good idea just to kind of run it. You can actually download the file and save it just so you have it and get somewhat of an idea of which plugins or themes might be a huge issue. If you see a plugin or theme with a long list of a lot of different errors or warnings, then you might want to reach out to that plugin or theme developer and just ask them if their plugin or theme is compatible with whatever version of PHP you plan to upgrade. It might be helpful to ask them first just before you go through the process. So now let's dive in and take a look at how to do it. So let's talk about how to upgrade your PHP version in WP Engine. You'll notice here when you log in to my.wpengine.com, you land on the home screen, and WP Engine does a good job also of recommending that you upgrade. So they've noticed that we're using either 5.6 or 7.0, and they're highly recommending that we upgrade to 7.2. They do produce this little upgrade guide here, but again, with WP Engine, I would highly recommend creating a staging site first, testing everything out, and then before you make the upgrade to 7.2 or 7.3, then I would do a backup of your live site just in case anything goes wrong and you get locked out of your admin area. WP Engine makes it really easy to create a backup on demand so you can have that ready just in case anything goes wrong. So how do we update our PHP with WP Engine? We'll come up here to Sites, and we'll click on the site that we need to upgrade for. And again, you'll notice right here, they're telling us that 7.0 is outdated and we should upgrade. So we click onto our site and then we're here on this overview screen. And you'll notice right here, again, they do a good job of letting us know that this is an outdated version. So what we're gonna do is click on 7.0. And then you get this little modal window that pops up just with a couple of options. And WP Engine limits the options for us here, and really 7.0 is what we're on currently, and then they give us the option to upgrade to 7.2 if we want to, and we do. So go ahead and click that radio button there and click the Change PHP Version button. And just like that, they change it almost instantaneously here, and you'll see that our PHP version is now set to 7.2. So that's how you upgrade PHP in WP Engine.